Daniel Samuelson, Te Puke KartSport President, here to talk about the Rotax DD2 today. The engine's a 125, same as the other senior Rotax motors. Difference being is we've got a drivetrain through the motor on this one, around 34 horsepower. We go up to about 14.2, 14.3 RPMs. Normally your power drops off about 13ish anyway. So with DD2 we have senior pros, I guess you call it, our masters. Worldwide masters is over 32s, but in New Zealand we still go over 40s. 173 for the weight in the pro class, and 182 I think it is for the masters. There's no chain and sprocket, and also with this the motor bolts to the chassis, so there's no bearing carriers on your right hand side like all the other Rotaxes. You get a little bit less flex with the motor, with the axle going through the motor, where in the other motors you've got a couple of bearings you can adjust around. You still adjust all your ride height exactly the same. The motor has spaces underneath it to go up and down. So the big difference with this over your other classes, other than the axle through the motor, is we've got two gears. Up here on a paddle shift, you've got first and second. Going from first to second, you flat shift, so there's an ignition cut. You keep your foot flat on the gas and rip it through. And pretty much you come into a corner, you'll go down to first, out of the corner up to second. Nice and easy. We run front brakes with this one compared to the standard Rotaxes. So there's just this in KZs that run front brakes in the country. A little bit extra stopping power, you got a little bit extra horsepower. You have brake bias between front and back. There's a lever on the side over here, nice and easy, a couple of clicks and you have more front brake or more rear. Single brake on the rear, the axle being solid, you don't need two brakes kind of thing. 4-pot calipers all around now on the newer karts, which is nice, good stopping power. On a normal straight, you're probably 110, 115k and you'll stop instantly pretty much. We normally run a 32 or 33 gear set. With the gears, you take the side of the motor off and it's just like two gears, quick change, you put them in and away you go. So we run a Vega tyre in New Zealand, where around the world with the other series they run Mojos. And the motor's the same as any other Rotax, it's sealed before any big meeting. You can't oversize your piston, you have to stay to the 125cc. Run any jets you want, and any fuel mixture pretty much is up to you. When you're 15 up, you can go into it, and we've got guys out here now that are 60, 65 still racing in the DD2. And up to your driving skill, you can still compete. It's a motorsport, males, females, anything. Rotax lights compared to these in a lap time is pretty similar, but we've got that extra braking, it's a bit more fun. You've got shifters, so it's a bit more like a race car as such, instead of just one gear. So this one's a Cosmic chassis done through Right Karts. Most of the chassis are similar. There's a couple of little settings that you can do. So yeah, when the weather's changing, like the meeting we got today, it's a bit hard, but when it's wet, you move your front wheels out a little bit. It's nice and easy, pull them out, extra spaces in there. Some will go and adjust your caster camber, all that, just depends how far up the field you are. The rear end generally stays pretty much the same. Some people run longer hubs in the back to get a bit more grip. With our radiators, we run a bit larger radiator and run it on the left-hand side. Standard Rotax runs it attached to the actual motor. Still have the same, you have a flap that you can lift up and down to cool it. Generally, you run around 60, 62 on the temperature gauge, and if you lift the flap, it'll drop instantly on a straight. It's nice and quick.